Hello to my fellow history lovers and people with curious minds that like to learn. I am author Eileen Schnabel, author of the Kep Westgard Time Travel to the American Revolution series. Today was my favorite of all these questions because I learned something I had no idea that actually impacts the book I'm writing now. So the question was, who led a failed but brave defense of Lake Champlain in what became known as the Battle of Valcour Island? And the answer is none other than the notorious Benedict Arnold. So here's the story, and there's a fascinating overlap to the Battle of Saratoga, which I will get to in a second. A man named Guy Carleton, a British general, says, "Hey, I got an idea. I'm going to march down from Canada, cut the colonies in half, kind of end the revolution." So he comes down, and Benedict Arnold knows that he's got to try to stop him. He knows he can't completely stop him, but he's going to try to slow him down as best he can. And as I said, I don't know if I said that, he's coming down Lake Champlain. So this is a book called Battlefield Atlases of the American Revolution. And this is Lake Champlain. So this is amazing. And actually, I didn't know any of this. So Benedict Arnold gathers together a bunch of so-called quasi-ships. They're basically floating rafts with cannons. He actually has them built on site to try to stop this invading force. And he meets, believe it or not, these sort of makeshift boats meet the British Navy, which of course is much more, all of their ships and boats are going to be more powerful. And he being Benedict Arnold, loses 11 of the 16 ships. But it's kind of like a chess game where, yes, he lost a piece, a big piece, lost a battle, but it actually helps win the war, and this is why. Carleton, he gets a little bit nervous because winter is going to set in soon. This is October. So he, being more cautious, decides he's going to go back up and winter it out in Canada. While he's there, none other than British General Burgoyne goes and sees an opportunity. So he goes to Parliament and says, "Hey, I got an idea. This is going to sound familiar. I'm going to march down from Canada, get to Albany, cut the colonies in half." But he had an addendum. He said, "And I'm going to have General Howe come up from the south and General St. Leger come in from the west, and we'll cut the colonies in half." Well, Parliament thought, that sounds good. Let's go with that. And there's a huge egos, both for Carleton and for Burgoyne. And when it actually came time for Burgoyne to start his march, Carleton refuses to basically give him any help. Well, as you know, especially if you read Kep Westgard Rebel Spy and Kep Westgard The Great Escape, Burgoyne, who is going to march down, is actually stopped at Saratoga. There are two famous battles at Saratoga. And in the end, Burgoyne has to surrender, and it's a huge deal, and in fact is the reason that the French decide to openly ally with us. But the ironic part of all this, a lot of ironic parts, is that it is Benedict Arnold who, in large part, during those two battles, is the one who helps defeat General Burgoyne. So both men, Carleton and Burgoyne, have the same plan, and in both cases, prior to turning a traitor, Benedict Arnold is the one who sort of saves the American cause. Anyway, thanks for letting me share. That was so fun. Sometimes the more you learn, the more you see these overlaps. And this one for me was just like a wow, lights on moment. So anyway, thanks for letting me share. I'll see you tomorrow.